All right, so we got morning notes for today. I'm going to be doing these types of videos more often, where I give you the morning notes for the day, what I expect the market to do, plus what stocks I'm watching, and the levels of each stock, meaning where I'm going to go long and where I'm going to go short. I got 10 stocks for today, and that's usually where I keep it to 8 to 10 stocks. And this morning notes is something that I make every morning. It is something that I do every single day, and it has become kind of a habit of sorts. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? You gotta do it. It's like a watch list, but you essentially make it so that you have a plan to execute during market hours. And it's also primarily I give this for my members, so that in the off chance that something happens to me, or I'm busy, my members can use these levels to make their trades. So I'm going to go over everything. I want to talk about the market, and if you want to be part of the Discord group, link will be in the descriptions below. You can use the code 1month to get the monthly subscription off for 75% for just the first month. I will be after the end of October, starting November, I'll be giving new discounts for the yearly and the lifetime memberships. So those are coming up for the end of the year. So, get them while you still can, basically, when I post them. So, the monthly one is gonna go down, so I would say take advantage of it. It's at 75% now, but I will be raising it. I will be raising the price of the discount. It's at 75% discount, but I'll be changing it to 50% after October 1st. So, yeah, take advantage of it while you still have it. All right. So, let's start things off. Market is gapping up a lot. Now, personally, the way I see it, VIX is back near 15, and it may drop down to 15, which would mean that the market has more upside to it, especially because we have bullish news on the market. The China and Trump has come to a little bit of a negotiation, blah blah blah. Anyways, we saw that coming from a mile away. But basically, VIX most likely gonna go down to 15. Maybe not today, but something to watch out for in terms of this week. There is gap to fill on VIX now. Above this 1583, we can get back to 1630s, 1650s, and maybe back to $17, which would be pretty nice. What I am basically looking for in terms of SPY, I'm just looking for a potential gap fill. I think if we can bring the SPY down under 682, so that would be your pre-market low. If we can bring VIX, if we can bring SPY down under 682, we can get it down to maybe 680 level for some gap fill. Okay, 680 level for some gap fill. I'm not asking for the entire gap, because the entire gap is 677. We're gapping up a big amount, 5 points. So I'm not expecting a huge gap fill, but at least 680 would be a nice gap fill of 2 points, because on that drop down to 680, we can basically play this for a potential bounce. So what I'm thinking is we drop down to 680, and then we bounce back up to 682, and maybe even break out towards 683 plus. That's kind of what I'm looking at. It will also come down to how the flow in the overall market is. Is the volume good, and so on. It is bullish news in the market, so we may not even get 680. We may bounce around 681, maybe even 681.50s. You just don't know. You have to play it accordingly. But at the moment, what I'm looking at is some gap fill towards 680 for a potential bounce back up, and maybe back to 682, 683. So that's kind of my thought process. Watch SPY, will be a pretty interesting play, and yeah, see if you can catch it. Similar fashion, QQQ, gapping up huge, a little bit more than SPY, 7, 8, almost $8 gap up. We are obviously all-time highs on the QQQ, and there isn't much to say other than will it keep pushing, or are we gonna get a gap fill? So with the QQQ, 625.40, 625.50 is your long. You get to maybe 626, 627, potentially even 628 if you're lucky. But I am leaning more towards the short side, and I would like to short it. I would say right under either 624 for a nice easy short, or even better spot, I would say, is right under 623.40, 623.50 for a 2 to 3 point gap fill on the downside. Should be a pretty easy trade if we start breaking below the VWAP and the flow is good and the flow says that we're bearish. So yeah. The one that I'm mainly going to be focusing on is IWM, and yeah, IWM just pretty standard place, long above 250, 250. You get 2 to 4 points back up to 255. I think all-time high is right. We're like very close to it, to be honest. All-time high is right around 252.82. So if we open up around 251.76 and then we get the all-time high breakout on the daily, we should get 1 to 2 more points to the upside. That would be pretty nice. Worth watching. However, if we see that market is weak and IW wants to sell off, I kind of just want to short it under the pre-market low right here at 250.50, 250.50, 250.60, and then fill the gap down to 49.50 and potentially break this 49 for 47.48 if we can get that kind of volatility. But I'm not looking for a big win. 1 to 2 points in either direction is good enough. All right, so those are the indexes. Let's move on to Hood, which is an individual stock. Hood, pretty standard gameplay here. 145 break, you go to 150. 142.60 break, you short it, you go for puts, you fill the gap down to 140. Pretty standard stuff. Should be a pretty easy trade. App. This one, interesting. This is a little bit of a confusing one, but I would say you can do two ways of playing. You can either long the pre-market high at 636, or you can wait like I will over 640. If it breaks above 640, I think we can take it to 645 to 650, which would be a pretty nice spot. In my opinion, we can get up to, I would say, like 650. However, on the short side, if app breaks 630, that is an easy short down to 620 in my opinion. 620, 621. Anything below 620, you can short it down to potentially 610, 615. But there's a lot of room to go down here, and I like it. But we'll see which way it picks during market hours for some good trades. Meta, I like what I see on Meta. It's just gapping up with the market, so you basically just want to play long above 751, which is the pre-market high. Short below, I would say right here around 746.70 or 746.50. That would be a nice bit of a short. Back down to 740, 742. You can fill the gap up to 740, 739. You can go ahead and take some profit around 742.50, which is the pre-market low. So you can look for these supports for your exit. On the long side, the 751 break should give you 755 in my opinion. You can take some profit there, and then you get out of your runners around 760, which should be the next big level. Netflix. This one, I have been shorting the entirety of last week, and I've made money since, after the earnings, I've just been shorting it. So it's been a really good mover for us, and a good amount of profit has been coming out of this particular stock. Can we keep doing it? We'll see. I don't know if it's gonna keep on dropping, because it has dropped quite a bit now. In terms of just how much it has dropped, it's down a lot. It's down a lot, but there is support right around this 1065, which I feel as though could be where we start bouncing off of if we ultimately get down there. So if we are planning on getting down to 1065, well, in my opinion, the short is pretty standard. You just short it under 1090, or I would say like 1094-ish, 1095-ish, because that's where the previous day's lows are. So just short under the previous day's lows. In terms of long, just wait for it to reclaim 1100, 1105, 1106, and just long above this big resistance around that 1106. You can bounce it back up to, I would say, like 1111, potentially even 1117. Right around 1117, 1118, maybe even 1120 plus. So that's kind of the idea, just taking it. I am more bearish here than bullish, because I think we can actually drop it down to the 65 area first before we get the bounce. Maybe not the entire way to 65, but maybe like we go to 1080 today, and then tomorrow we go to 1070, then 1065. You get the point. But I like it. I like what I see here. Could be a pretty good mover. It has been a really good mover last week. We've made a lot of profit on the small account challenge so far, which, by the way, if you want to be part of the Discord group and you want to follow along the small account challenge, we've grown the small account from 1,000 to 2,700, 2,700. That is 170% in under 3 weeks. So if you want to, take advantage of the plays and the alerts that I give out, every single trade I take, all of them go into my alert room right here, which you can access in the Discord. And yeah, take advantage of it while you still can. All right. And finally, we have a few more stocks. Not finally, but we have two more stocks. One of them, Lulu. Lulu just got a news that they're gonna be starting to sell NFL merches or NFL clothings or whatnot, um, which is a pretty big news in my opinion. I think that is or NFL apparel, and I can just show you right here. Lulu to sell NFL apparel for the first time in Fanatics deal, which is a pretty good news for Lulu. It's a new avenue for profit and business. So for them, this is a good news. So let's see if Lulu can kind of get above this 185 and start getting to 190. That would be great. Otherwise, you can just pretty much short it under 180. You can even try shorting it, I would say, right under like 182, 180, 150 area and see if you can bring it down to 180, 179. And then anything more than that, just go to like 177, 178. I don't know how volatile this is going to be, but I like it. It's not bad. Worth keeping an eye on. Last but not least, and this is one that I will probably be watching a lot this week, is Tesla. There has been a ton of upgrades on Tesla, some very, very big upgrades. And the setup on Tesla is pretty standard, right? You have a daily chart, all-time high breakout setup on Tesla. The last time it did the all-time high was back in December of 2024. So yeah, I'm looking to see if we can kind of break through this 450 zone, 451, 452, and start ramping into 70s and 80s. Could happen this week. It is a very volatile stock. Could happen next week. You never know. But I like this setup. I think 450 break this week is easy money. For today, you just play the 441, 441.50 break and get to 450, or you can short it under 438, fill the gap down to 435, 434 area. But I am leaning towards a long on this one just because I really like it. And I'm going to give you guys a bonus. This is a stock that I have a swing trade on. It is SoFi. We're going to be up really nice on SoFi today because we took the position last week. And it is a position that I took on the small account because I truly believe that this stock has the looks for the next leg up. It gives me the vibe of how Hood was when it was like $15 or so, and then it just went for a massive run. Hood, it's kind of the same vibe. So for me, what I am looking for, and I have $30 calls for November 14th, so I have plenty of time. These are going to be up really nice for the small account. What I'm looking for is this breakout. If you go to the daily chart, you'll see that it is now very close to setting up this breakout. If it breaks above this 30-30, we should see more upside on it. We should see a push, and we should see it continue to go up 32s, 33s, and so on and so forth. It's already done. It's curled back up and hit all-time highs. I think this is a stock that will be $50 plus in the near future, potentially even $70 plus. But right now, this setup is so good. It is about to break out, potentially break out today and make a big run. So watch out for SoFi. You may really like it. I'm already up on this, and I'm going to have a really good win out of it. But I also like that earnings is coming up, and I think earnings is going to be pretty good for it. If it dips on earnings, I would just scoop up some long-term shares and options, maybe 1 to 2 years out, and you'll probably make a lot of money on them. Just a heads up. So yeah, SoFi, just a bonus for you guys. That's it for the morning notes. I will try to post more morning notes in the channel, in the YouTube channel. So, follow along, subscribe, like the video, and if you want to be part of the Discord group, link will be in the descriptions below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.